This season of So Wrong It's Right is sponsored by our friends at Foxy Bingo. Are you looking for a fun online bingo experience all at the tip of your finger? Whether you're a seasoned bingo pro or a complete beginner, Foxy Bingo is the place for you. They've got bags of bingo to go around, plus loads of top slots that you can grab a paw of. They have a huge range of free, classic and exclusive games you can play with your mates and community chat, so you can always feel part of the Foxy pack. So get your Fox on by heading to Foxy Bingo today. 18 plus, begambleaware.org, T's and C's apply.
What's your most irritating thing about me?
That you're...
You must have a big list.
Yeah, I do, but I wouldn't ham you like that in a public space.
Put me in a photo shoot with a young 20-year-old and I'd wipe the shit with him.
And then I actually got to the point where I'm sat in Simon's house saying to him, if you don't hire me, this is the biggest mistake you've ever made.
I love that. I love that energy. You told me you liked it.
I know, I
Fuck,
lied.
you're jealous.
I lied.
You're jealous.
I lied.
You're jealous.
You're ginger.
You recede him.
Wow.
Hi Wrong'uns, have you missed me? While we wait patiently for Series 3, I thought we should go into the archives and highlight some of my favourite moments from Series 2. And if you keep your eyes and your ears peeled, you will notice some never-before-seen surprises in the mix. So enjoy and let me know what you think.
The younger generation, I'm like, they know Katie Price. They don't know who Jordan is.
No.
And if you say, oh yeah, I was Jordan, they're like, who's Jordan?
Yeah.
Like,
But imagine all the
if
things
the
you were
Jordan
doing.
stuff was out now, which I'm obviously doing a comeback to do exactly all what I did then,
Yeah.
the perfumes, underwear and all that stuff. But no one has any idea of how much I had to graft because there was no social
No.
media. It was all magazines, newspapers, covers of Esquire, GQ,
So
Loaded.
different.
Like, that's all I did. They had no social media.
How have you navigated now transitioning into like social media being a big part of your career and
I
using
don't
Instagram
even
and stuff?
know. It's so difficult. It's so different. Although I will be cocky with this statement.
Go on.
Like, I'm not the most confident person, but
No, you're a wallflower, yeah.
put me in a photo shoot with a young 20-year-old and I'd wipe the shit with him. I might not look it sitting there, but I come alive in front of the camera when it's a photo shoot. I am the best at what I do with that, which is why I do OnlyFans. Like, I still don't get all my bits and that out because I
But
never
you
did
enjoy
do.
shooting
I
and-
just become like an animal in front of the camera. I absolutely love it. And that's why you'll never see pictures of me on Instagram in bikinis, underwears, because
you
that's
save them
all I've
all.
ever done. So the older generation who grew up with that, they love the OnlyFans. But I tell you now, you younger generation out there, have a look at my OnlyFans and then you'll see I'm a MILF. Yeah.
Do you ever get like a little bit of I'm trying to think what word I can use, like, you know, when
It'll
you've
be
been
the wrong one, whatever you choose.
yeah, I was going to be careful. You know, when you've been filming a lot and you start to just forget English. No, just
No,
me.
well, no, because I'm not that busy. I've not been in a position where my career is filming a lot. So, but I'm sure that's real tough for you, going from strength to strength.
God, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Talking about going from strength to strength, so you had to do that in between still doing the documentaries. You're filming another one at the minute, again. Are you ever not filming?
No.
No.
Because even when I'm at home, me and Brad are filming.
What? I mean, that nearly went straight over my head, but that ties in beautifully, actually. Is that how you're keeping the spark alive? Are you just like, is there a lot of phone sex at the minute or what?
People always ask, like, how do you keep the spark alive? But it's like, imagine being married to someone that is...
I mean, that's a struggle for me to start off with.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Emotionally unregulated, often hungry, sometimes drunk.
Are you talking about you?
Me?
Right, yeah.
Is sparky, do you know what I mean? Like, he's just trying to stay out of the firing line. It's the spark. He'd like to know how to dampen the spark.
I mean, I can think of a few ways. We'll move on from that, shall we? Well, you're very independent.
hyper independent.
Yeah.
Like my therapist always tells me, like, stop wearing it like a badge of honor. It's giving trauma. I'm like, oh, what? But
Not as much as the fringe is giving trauma.
You
Sort of
told me you
hiding
liked
behind-
it.
I
The
know, I
fuck?
lied.
You're jealous.
I lied.
You're jealous.
I lied.
You're jealous.
You're ginger.
You're jealous.
You're ginger.
You recede him.
Wow. I can't come back from that.
Why'd you have to make it horrible?
I don't know. Because I'm trying to be nice. I'm just so
And I
busy.
feel bad now.
No, you don't. That's
No,
a
I
little
don't.
bit. No, you don't. I can see it in your face when it moves.
You touched there on nepotism and the whole conversation around that. And I think it's such an interesting one. And it was very kind of honest of you to just come out with that. What was your experience like? You know, I know you've been probably asked this question a million times, being raised by, you know, the king and queen of daytime TV. And I just have to I do this sometimes in my pod because some of the listeners and watchers, Gen Z and younger what even is younger than Gen Z, will be like, what's this she's talking about? Alpha, is that what they are?
Are they?
Richard and Judy, like you say, were the it couple. They still kind of are, but of TV. And you know, the year you were born, they were the This Morning hosts.
Yeah.
For how long did they have that job for?
I think. Well, they did move to Channel 4.
And then they had their own show, didn't they?
16 years they did This Morning, and then when I was 21, my mum specifically retired. But then they did the Channel 4 show, the evening show.
Yes, and then your dad is still popping up on GMB.
Yeah, GMB
and different things.
Yeah.
What was that experience like growing up? Like literally as a baby from the day you were out the womb and they were, you know, on your telly.
So again, you know, they started it the year that I was born. So it is literally, I have nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
So, you know, what I will say, it was like fucking amazing that when I was obsessed with the Spice Girls at 9 years old, I got to meet them. Like, I would lie in bed at night and cry. Like, what if I never get to meet the Spice Girls? I was a very dramatic, teeny bopper child. And I got to meet them. And like, so much so, like, I walked past Emma Bunton in the street the other day and she was like, hi, Chloe. And I was like, It's like, it was the coolest thing in the world.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was wicked. And like, loads of fun stuff happened. Like, George Michael came over for Sunday lunch once. And I remember my mum having a meltdown. Yeah, as you do. Like, really cool stuff. But it was never, because my mum grew up very working class Manchester. My dad grew up very working class Romford, Essex. And so it was never lost on them. So because their excitement and their shock at what was happening to their lives was so evident and talked about. And like, my mum like literally did a somersault when she heard George Michael was coming over for Sunday lunch. And it was the result of him donating a lot of money for a charity phone-in they did. And they were like, look, he wouldn't let them say who it was. They were like, we really want to thank you, come over for Sunday lunch. And shock, he said yes. And
wow,
it was a huge, huge, huge deal. So it was really exciting for me too. And also, let's not, you know, lie about the elephant in the room. It has had a huge impact on me having like the audience that I have on social media, which has then allowed me to have a direct audience to market to in terms of my health and fitness stuff. So no, my parents have nothing to do with health and fitness, and no, you can't say that it's nepotistic. But what I can say is that because of my career in television before, I had a built-in audience on social media, and that makes doing whatever you go into next easier.
But when I see narratives around like the Beckham's kids, they fucking you, whoever else, I honestly think it's the stupidest argument because, like you say, if you were them, would you not?
I know.
Like you say, also, no one's mad if like the partner of a law firm gets his son in.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like when it's to do with entertainment, we just get so vicious. And it's like, what do you want that human who didn't choose their parents? They just, you don't choose your parents. What do you want them to do? Just stay indoors and knit because you're pissed off that they got like the door like opened a little bit for them. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me.
No,
like,
you're right. You're right. Nobody judges it in dentistry or in law or in medicine. But when it comes to the entertainment industry, people get very angry, and they get angry because, let's be honest, and especially, I mean, I think this has always been the case, but especially now with people like the Kardashians and everything, people see fame as a measure of success. Now, I'm here to tell you it is not.
That's a very true point.
Yeah, and so I completely disagree with that, you know, sentiment, but they do, and it makes them feel angry. But I can tell you now, like, you know, for any of those kids of famous people who've kind of done what I've done, like dipped in and out of it, like the most miserable times of my life were when I was in the spotlight. And the happiest times of my life have when it's just been me in my gym on my own. It's not a measure of success at all. And I've made much more money doing what I do now than I did when I worked in TV. There is actually no money in TV for anyone who wasn't
Why do you think I'm here, guys?
There really isn't. Unless they get their shit together and they start getting, you know, sponsorships and branding the way that YouTube do. TV's on its hours, which they're doing now, but still, like, Yeah, it's a very misguided anger, hatred, and argument, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense. It's a very different argument, but it's almost like the same. People like to go, oh well, yeah, but you got that because you're on Love Island. It's like, so things can like open doors for you, but also once you're in the door, you can only stay off yourself.
Yeah,
like
100%.
they can't keep you a famous parent or a show to launch you, whatever.
Yeah.
Definitely helps.
Yeah.
But then once you're there, you have to create the space, because otherwise it's like, yeah, we'll put you on the show because you went on this or your parents that, but they're not going to book you again if you're an uninteresting, uncharismatic person.
That's exactly it. You have to work hard no matter what industry you fall into or the door is opened for you. You have to work hard. Like, you can't just be like on Love Island and come off and then maintain or even grow and metastasize what you've done without working your socks off, being a creative mind, not having a vision of where you want to go and what you want to do. You have to work. And it's the same in my industry. Like I talk about treading water since having my daughter. Like, trust me, like if I hadn't been doing that, I would be making a lot more money right now and a lot more people would know what I do for a living. But it's not the right time for me, so it's fine. But it works for everything. You're completely right.
I think we need to do this question, I think we've hammered this subject, but the question is, what's the most irritating thing about the other person?
I like little thing.
Yeah, go on, I know what you're going to say.
Yeah. When you get like, what do you call it? Sensory overload. When you get that, you you walk around and do this really deep huff all the time. And then you can hear it from like 2 rooms away, I can hear it. And I'll be like, oh, please stop doing that. And then she just gets even more angry and just does it even louder. But you don't know you're doing it now, do you?
Well, I don't, but it's like, it's a neurodivergent thing to do. It's like, because I'm trying to get like air in, because I'm like shallow breathing. So I need to like get on my, car map and just like have a word. But it's like, because I'm not breathing properly. It doesn't sound like I'm very healthy, does it?
What's your most irritating thing about me?
That you're...
You must have a big list.
I do, but I wouldn't ham you like that in a public space. But there's a few, but they all come down to like the opposites of our personalities. So like the fact that you I believe that I've seen you move fast on a football pitch, but anything outside of those white lines, you just move so slowly. Like there's never any sense of urgency, and it just drives me insane. Like, it's just everything happens, and every time you need to go somewhere, you suddenly decide you need to empty your bowels. Like everything, I'm just waiting always, and you don't retain information, and you gaslight me to the point where I feel like I'm going insane because my brain, it's like, I don't know how to describe it, like. If you could see, it's like the Matrix up there, and I just don't forget anything. And it's just like, I'll tell you something. I know in my soul and my heart, I've said to you, Brad, keep Thursday free. Thursday rolls around, are you free? No, I'm going to the golf course. Like the panic. And I go, oh my God. But you refuse to believe I've told you.
No, I agree. You tell me everything, but there has been odd occasions where maybe that is true.
Why don't you just admit that you don't retain information? Now we have to invest in this like whiteboard system at home, electric white, so we can have it in writing, so we can have proof. Like
sometimes.
No, you just don't listen. You don't listen. Right. I know there's a lot to take in, but the key stuff drives me insane. Okay. I would love a break from me. I'd love to live inside your head just for a week.
No, because I have you all the time.
No, but this never turns off. Like I have to listen to my own narrative constantly, and I'd love to just be a little bit more relaxed. Like it'd be so nice. You just wake up in the morning and it's just like, wake up in the morning, he's like playing a game on his phone.
That's not what I
You this morning I rolled over and you were playing a game. You were shooting a ball into something.
No, I was not. I wasn't playing a game this morning. I wasn't playing a game.
Do you ever wake up in the morning and play a game on your phone?
No. Before I go to sleep, I might play a game.
So what do you do in the morning on your phone?
Just look. Just look at my phone. Just look at stuff that's going on.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
So
look at the weather.
So in the time that you have laid there just looking, in that time, I've gone downstairs and punished myself in the gym for an hour. I've washed and blow dried my hair. I've taken 85 multivitamin different supplications because I'm convinced I'm going to die. And I'm on my 7th to-do list. So that's why I get jealous of you, because I'm like, imagine just...
Yeah, but the thing
Imagine.
is that
Imagine.
you do that in like a short space of time. So you'll get up
So
at
move
6.
fast.
I'm still getting up at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. That's quite early still.
It's unacceptable.
I'll still go to the gym and do my stuff.
I know, but I wish you'd get up earlier with me so we could enjoy that morning time together.
It's just a little bit too early for me.
Guys, welcome to this week's What the Foxy Facts. In my paws, I have 2 statements. One is true, one is false, and we're going to find out which one it is, and I want you to play along with me. Fact number 1, hippos can't swim. Fact number 2, pigeons are the only bird in the world known to identify each other by scent. I feel like hippos are always in water though, but do they swim? Or do they just waddle? And the other one's really specific, the scent thing. Like, it'd be weird for someone to make that up. Do hippos swim? They're so heavy, there's probably no way. I think fact number 1 is true. I just don't know if a hippo could keep itself up above water. Right, going into the orange envelope. I was right! Fact number 1, hippos can't swim because of the density of their bones. Oh yeah, that's why. Hippos are basically not buoyant. So while they look like they're swimming, they are just walking on the riverbeds opposed to actually swimming. I'm a genius! Guys, that was this week's What the Foxy Facts, brought to you by Foxy Bingo. I'll see you next time.
Can you remember the first time you had BV? I was like, what's happening?
No, legitimately, I do actually remember this. And I remember I was crying. My reaction was like really unhinged.
Like, is this me
I
now?
went to the, like, you know, like the walk-in STI clinic.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
And
I know it
I'd
well.
already diagnosed myself with gonorrhea. And I was like, it's
the
gonorrhea.
classic.
Yeah. And I was like all shaking and sweating. And the woman was like, just take a seat. She's like, you need to calm down. My best friend was in the waiting room like, oh my God, here we go again. Because I'm a big hypochondriac. And I was like, this is it. And she was like, then she examined me and she's like, no, just got a bit of BV. What are you using to wash your nunny? And I was like, you know, jasmine, strawberry, glitter, shower gel.
You've got
She's like, yeah, that'll be it.
Bath bombs.
You've got sticks of fish and you've got a chunk of glitter up there,
Yeah.
darling.
But then, because no one talks about it or educates,
No, we know
you're
about
using
it.
more smelly shower gel, thinking it'll make it better.
And then I'm in the shower like, it still fucking stinks.
I had it. I remember one of the first times I had it, and we were at work at that place, and I had some tights on, and I was sat next to one of the
Don't
girls.
tell me you smell sick.
No, it wasn't actually you. And I'm sat there, and I thought, God, she stinks of fish. Carried on. Whew. And then I said to one of the girls, because we were all really close, I was like, can you smell that? So then I put my head between my legs. I thought, I swear it's me. And she's called Natty. I went, Nat, just smell my fanny. So she bent down, put her head in my crotch and went, oh, absolutely. She stinks of fish. And then and we both had in an office. She's like, oh yeah, you stink of tuna. And it was BV.
This sounds like the best workplace ever.
Oh, it was. Do you know what we did once there? We realised one of the girls decided to try and sell used tights and socks on eBay. So we would wear them all day and pass them around the office so they stunk and then post them off.
Do you remember that time you sat on that clear chair with no knickers on and I went underneath?
It was a clear chair, fully plastic. And I said, I'm going to take my knickers off and sit on it and just see what you see.
Like
and
a
she looked at me, she
pastrami
was like,
sandwich.
And we used to photocopy our arses
Yeah,
and stuff.
honestly.
Oh my God.
we
all
had
the
such
good
a laugh.
stuff.
There should have been a show around that. People always say to me, it's worse than the UK. We love burning people at the stake. We love that kind of rising women up and then bringing them down. And people always say it's not as bad in other countries. Or do you think, in your experience, would you say it's kind of a global...
Yeah, we definitely cannibalise more here. We're also a smaller country, you know, so there's more focus on everything. But, you know, I was amazed to see what the England team get put through.
I know.
It was the first time I've really paid attention to how much we shit on our own.
Yeah.
And you compare that to the way that the media really bigs up their own home football teams around the world, or sports teams.
Did
and you're
you
like,
see
God,
the
that's
article?
so part of our psyche, isn't it?
Yes.
Just to rip them to shreds while they're still playing.
I know.
And then wonder why maybe they aren't more
crumble
successful. It's like, well, maybe if you didn't take a 19-year-old and batter him for the entirety of the weeks leading up to the biggest games of their lives, then maybe they've got a better chance. It's just
Absolutely.
But then I also at the same time love the fact that, you know, when you're at Wimbledon, everyone, it doesn't matter who you showed up to root for, you will end up rooting for the underdog, and that is a wonderful part of British culture. But we, in the same way that it's amazing that we love the people who are losing, I think it's quite intense the way that we hate the people who are winning.
Yeah.
But then also hate them when they then lose.
It's so true, because on the back of that football, my dad's German, and in the German media, they were actually did like a big spread as a journalist on the way we report our sport.
Wow.
It was quite fascinating to German journalists to read some of our reporting and the way you say, like, we rip down the people that aren't performing the way we want them to.
Yeah.
And in other countries, you know, throughout Europe, they were quite shocked by it.
Yeah.
And it was interesting that they saw that parallel and they were like, whoa, like they're slacking off their own team. And I was like, yeah, we love doing that. We do that kind of stuff all the time in England.
Yeah, it's just it's a sort of cultural sport. It's also, I think, what makes us funny, and I think it's what leads to the self-deprecating that makes English people quite charming, in my opinion. And I did get a bit overdosed on positivity at times in America, where I was like, oh,
they
shut
really
up.
ram it down your throat, don't they?
But
they're very happy.
definitely. But I think that I think maybe New York's got a better balance.
Yeah.
They're not overly positive, but they're also not going to decimate their own.
I think they have our dry sense of humour.
Yeah.
They can laugh at themselves.
Yeah,
Whereas I feel
And they're
like...
grumpy.
Yeah.
I love the British grumpiness.
It's in LA, they don't laugh at themselves.
No. And if you make fun of yourself, they look at you like you need pills.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like-
When I was filming in LA recently, I made a joke at my own expense, which is like basically my whole humour deck.
Yeah, and they're like, oh my God,
it was
are
like,
you
oh my
okay?
God, that's awful.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no,
You need
it's
a Xanax.
a joke.
We all love celebrity when we can switch it on and off, but it has its dark side. And I was hacked for many years when we didn't know about hacking, which was one of the worst experiences of my life.
The big hacking scandal back with the News of the World.
Well, this was with the Mirror Group.
And they hacked your phone.
They not only hacked my phone, obviously the people at the Mirror now are completely different. My
course.
relationship is very good with them
Yeah.
now. But then it was 2001 to 2007. So I just had a new baby as well, who was poorly. And they not only hacked my phone, and this is all on the records, been in the court, I've got me payout and all that malarkey. And they not only hacked my phone, they put bugs in my hotel room on 2 occasions. And
And what
in
were you
fact,
working on at the time? What were they trying to... What was going on? They were trying to...
Paps have told me since, I had a massive target on my back. Olivia, believe you me, a lot of the headlines I've had over the years I've deserved, but there's a lot of them absolutely I have not. And that was because I had this target and I was just good fodder for the press. If I came out of somewhere and the shutter caught me with my eyes closed, I was staggering out of a restaurant when I possibly wasn't even drunk, because sometimes I did drink and come out of a nightclub like a million other people in our industry.
Yeah.
And but you didn't know you were being hacked. So the distrust that it caused within even your family circle, because if something has come out in a paper and you have only told one person,
Yes.
you never in a million years thought that people were listening into your phone calls. And in fact, last year, ITN News came to me and said, would I be prepared to meet the guy who hacked my phone? And I said I would. Enough time had elapsed. He was given a suspended sentence. He had mental health issues after doing it. It wasn't just me.
So was he a journalist? Or
He was a journalist working for the Mirror,
Right.
But he was. This is what really gets me. But I won't go down the line of it. But the top bosses at these papers have got away scot-free. But the people like Graham Johnson and other people who were their minions have done time and had suspended sentences, but they haven't. So he was instructed to hack my phone, to see what he could get I did meet the guy and we actually talked for an hour and a half. There was 3 seconds on the television.
Of course.
But it was important to me to help me move past it. Remember, I had kids at the time, Olivia, and I have kids, obviously kids now. But Matty, Louis was little.
Yes.
But Matty was a teenager, going to school. And again, I was responsible for some of those headlines, but every single week there was on one of these weekly magazines, there was Denise in drug hell, marriage hell, sex hell, this hell. I'm thinking, how many hells can a working mother be in a week whilst raising 2 children?
Yeah.
And that was mostly as a result of hacking and just pulling off bits of information. And again, when I was doing Waterloo Road, we discovered that even people who weren't being hacked, they were finding out where they were going because of my voicemails.
Got it. So other people who weren't...
There was a ripple effect of people being affected by this. And that's a lot of years that went on for.
Denise, can I ask what sounds like a bit of a stupid question, but how did you find out that you were one of the people that was hacked?
Well, I found out because Graham Johnson turned whistleblower. So I never had to, in my particular case, I never had to prove that I was hacked. So Operation Golding, I think it was called, there was 2, Wheating and Golding. They called me and they said, we have evidence that you were hacked because Graham Johnson, who hacked you, and he's in the public arena, I'm not sort of quoting anything that hasn't sort of been out there. Graham Johnson has admitted that he hacked your phone and he's turned whistleblower. And he now works for the other side. So he's poacher turned gamekeeper.
Can you possibly tell me how that felt in words when you had that information given to you?
I'll tell you when it really hit me, is that I was called down to Putney Police Station. And I had to sit with them for 5 hours while they had spreadsheets galore laid out of my life over 6 years. And I would go, oh my God. That's when I lived in that house and that information was coming out. I haven't lived a perfect life. In my last marriage, there were infidelities on both sides. We've both admitted that. So I'm not moralizing about anything, but it was my fucking business.
Of course.
Anything that was going on. Yeah. I always say, if you're in a nightclub and you're doing something you shouldn't do and a pap takes a picture of you, it's hands up, gov, you've got me.
Yeah.
But don't you think you've got the right to listen to my messages and go in my phone?
Not.
So when I sat looking at all of these spreadsheets and these things that had gone on, do you know, I did feel really sorry for myself because a lot of those headlines really impacted my family. Really, really, really did impact my family so much. There was never a time that I wasn't being, called out for something. As I say, some of it could have been hands up, gov, but a lot of it was done by that. So I was very resentful about it.
I mean, you were already so famous from N-Dubs, but I think where you went into that next category and obviously was so in everyone's living rooms was with the X Factor.
Yeah.
I literally blew my own mind when I was researching that you were 23.
I was 22, actually.
22.
On the side.
Because I'm sitting at home watching, I'm trying to think how old I would have been. Like, I'm maybe 4 or 5 years younger than you.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking you're like an adult because you're with all these adults.
Yeah.
You must be a 30-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Like, when I saw that this morning, I was like, sorry, what?
I was like the youngest judge ever at the time.
Young.
Yeah.
Like, how do you even ask you this question? Like, what was that experience like for you?
Oh, just a whirlwind, absolutely bizarre.
The biggest show on telly.
Yeah.
Like, insane.
I mean, I manifested it. I looked at that job and was like, I'm going to have that job.
Really?
Yeah, like that job is mine.
And it was Gary?
Me, Gary, Kelly and Louis.
Yes.
Yeah,
and who did you get on with the best?
Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like...
He seems like he's a good egg.
Yeah, he's just like giggly and funny and, quite lighthearted. And I think he maybe saw how young I was as well and had that sense of like, oh, I want to, protect you. So he was kind of like, have my back.
Yeah, because then when I thought about how young you were and I thought about some clips I've seen of you paneling and the way some of the other judges were of you, it made me kind of even more think, why are you like being so catty? It's like a young girl.
You have to imagine as well, like, when I'd said to myself, I'm going to get this job, and then I actually got to the point where I'm sat in Simon's house saying to him, if you don't hire me, this is the biggest mistake you've ever made.
I love that. I love that energy.
It's like...
I love that.
Sparking up a fag as well. You don't mind, do you?
Yeah.
So, but I knew he was going to like that energy.
Yeah.
And then he hired me on the spot. He was like, the job's yours. And then I walked out of the house and I was like, okay, crap, no, I really need to do this. How am I going to, I'm in way over my head.
This is real.
This is crazy. It's like one thing, one in it, now I've got to do it.
Yeah.
So I was just like keeping my head above water the whole time. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was just trying my best. All of a sudden, I'm like one of the most famous people in the country at the time because I'm a judge. It was just like, what is going on?
And the
was
media
mad.
attention to that show and everything about it was like catatonic. People were obsessed.
Yeah.
How did you navigate that? And
I didn't.
No.
It was just a bit of a train wreck. I just had the attitude of, I am what you say I am. Basically, that was the vibe, a bit like the Eminem song, because I had so much backlash getting the job, you know, like a member of N-Dubs is on the panel. I remember when they first announced I was a judge and there was a story where it said, it's Ibiza, it's 4 a.m, there is a girl covered in tattoos, she, you know, puts her mouth around a kebab. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your new X Factor judge.
Oh, wow.
Chavi Tulisa.
Wow.
So I just had to kind of toughen up and go, yeah, and what?
Yeah.
I'm still
Did it
here.
hurt though?
Of course it did at that age, of course. But I would express my hurt through anger. So it just made me super defensive in a lot of ways.
Okay, I'm going to read you a bunch of statements.
Okay.
We decide if they're so wrong it's right.
Okay.
Just wrong or they're right.
I am
They're
a wrong un though, so you know I don't.
Well, that's why
I'm
you're
sorry
here,
in
honey.
advance.
Wearing your partner's clothes without asking them.
Oh, James and we're both big, so we both we both wear like sort of unisex clothes. So
Brad
I
and I
guess,
basically the same size.
yeah,
I mean,
we
you've all met him.
we steal everything from each other.
The benefit of having I'm a tall woman and he's a relatively smaller man.
But-
But the same size hoodies.
Yeah,
Perfect.
But the problem is for me and James is that I cover everything in chocolate, like everying in chocolate, to the
Okay.
point where when I'm staying in a hotel room, it
looks like you shit the
it looks like I shit the bed because there's little stains. So I leave, and I'm notorious for this. I leave little notes for the cleaners that says "not poo," just because I don't want them to be traumatized and I don't want them to have that shock.
Maybe I should do
So
that
I
with
just
my
write-
fake tan towels.
Definitely. Oh my god!
They think I
fake
wiped my ass
tan.
with the towels.
Yeah.
Oh no!
And it's that sort of Ozempic poo, the one that's like light yellowy.
I wouldn't know, but yeah. Purposely watching sad films that you know make you cry.
Oh, so wrong. It's right. I do it every
Yeah.
night. Every night. Like every night. I'm
Are
like,
you okay?
You've Got Mail is on. When he's like, it was always you. I'm like, oh my God, Tom, stop. Love You've Got Mail. Do you not watch it? It's such an autumnal film.
No, it's good, but I'm not a big crier. I have a really hard time crying. Like, and everyone who listens to the pod knows this. Like, it's kind of, you know, the Holiday Cameron Diaz.
Yes.
It's a bit like that for me, and
Yeah.
it's like it's kind of a weird thing in my family, like with Brad, with me crying, whatever. And talking of dogs, the only film that gets me every single time.
Marley and Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And that
Every
was
time,
before I was a dog
proper like in
person.
my throat, like I can't explain how it makes me feel. It's that end bit when he's like talking to the dog in the vet.
Babe,
Maybe
if you
talk about that, I
guys-
feel like I'm gonna go.
gonna go.
I just and then my dogs are always there.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like I was like squeezing my dog the other night so much her eyes were like pulsating. But I was like, "You're gonna legit kill the dog." I was like, I just can't imagine when that day is gonna come. And he was like, literally never seen so much emotion. Going on a double date as your first date.
Good
No,
idea. I know. I think
no.
that's a nice. I'd like that.
No.
I don't hate that.
Because I've never been on a date.
Break the tent. Neither have I.
Never.
Serious.
In my life,
I've
I've been
never
married
on a blind
twice for
date,
fuck's
nothing.
sake, and I've
What
got a
is
child.
wrong with
I
you?
have never,
No, neither.
ever been on a date.
I was a prolific dater.
So like,
I'm a
I've
Netflix
never
and
done
chill.
a first time date with someone I haven't already been speaking to.
Me neither.
Oh yeah, no, like I was speaking to them on text or
But
whatever.
had you met them in real life before?
No.
See, I've never done that.
Never.
done
I am
that.
a Netflix and chill after a night out
Yes,
person because I like that just chillness.
No,
of
because
it.
then they can touch you and shit.
That's what I'm there for.
No.
I'm there for the touching.
That's what she's hoping.
That's what
No.
I'm wanting.
No. I hold off.
I
the
feel like a
touching.
double date would be a fun way of breaking. If
I
especially
think
if
No,
you're-
yeah.
you don't
And if
care,
you don't
do
like
you?
him,
Oh yeah, if you don't like him, you can just
You can
get
fuck
pissed
off
when
and
you
leave
You
the
can go
three
to
of
the
them.
toilet with your friend and be like, what a fucking loser.
Yeah.
on
No,
the
I think
spot.
right. I think that's right.
Right. This would never work in our house. Initiating sex just to avoid an argument.
Yeah, wrong. It's wrong to do that, isn't it? It's probably so wrong it's right, actually.
It's so wrong it's right, but it just... if I was on the verge of having an argument with you, you wouldn't even get near me.
Yeah.
Like...
But if you had the power to do that, it would be so wrong it's right.
What do you mean the power?
Like, the power.
It's giving a little bit.
Not what I meant, but do you know what I mean?
It's like, yeah, when they just pick that stuff in film, it's like, if we're like in like bad tension, so you try to kiss me, I'd probably knock you out.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just being touched when I'm angry. Lying about how much you like a gift you've been bought.
So wrong it's right.
No, it's just right. Like, it's polite.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
But it is wrong though, no?
Wait, what do you mean lying about
Shouldn't
it?
lie.
You shouldn't lie.
Yeah, so that makes it so wrong it's right.
But I think it's polite to... No, you should lie. It's polite to lie. I don't think you should tell someone you don't like a gift they bought. That's rude.
You've told me the whole relationship, don't lie.
Oh,
and now you're telling me to lie.
Don't try and like twist the rule book. You should, like, between me and you, it's a bit different. But if my mum buys you a gift, are you going to go, oh, Jen, this sucks?
No, I'll always say it's nice.
Yeah, so you're polite to lie. In this, it's right.
Okay.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed this bonus episode. I'll be back before you know it. But in the meantime, why don't you send us a little DM and tell us who you want to see on the next series of the pod, and I'll do my absolute best to try and secure them. Love you loads, and I'll see you very soon. This season of So Wrong It's Right is sponsored by our friends at Foxy Bingo. Are you looking for a fun online bingo experience all at the tip of your finger? Whether you're a seasoned bingo pro or a complete beginner, Foxy Bingo is the place for you. They've got bags of bingo to go around, plus loads of top slots that you can grab a paw full of. They have a huge range of free, classic and exclusive games you can play with your mates, and community chat so you can always feel part of the Foxy pack. So get your fox on by heading to Foxy Bingo today. 18+, begambleaware.org, T's and C's apply.